Hopefully it reads it this time.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I think what it is, it's Friday. Everybody's here, so we're all just trying to stream together. So again, I want to thank the essential workers for doing their part. Doctors, nurses, everybody. Always wash your hands before and after every meal. For the ones that are quarantined, enjoy your time with your loved ones, and as always, make sure that you're keeping safe and you're doing the right thing. And when this is all said and done, we all have to work together to try to make this thing go as fast as possible. So as I was saying before, this whole YouTube thing got going on. And I think we finally got it figured out. Carl Larson was a former NASCAR driver. He just got fired by his racing, coaches. His, boss fired him, and Joan Garcia with the comment, Canes. That's right, baby. The U. We'll get into why I'm wearing hurricane gear today later on. But during an iRacing video game he was doing, he said the N word. He said the word with the ER, and there's no place like that here, in this world anymore. It's to the point where it's almost kind of embarrassing that you got caught saying that word. Um, it. I hate it. I hate every vulgar language like that myself. I try my best to you know not say it. I mean, I do catch myself saying what WTFs and all that stuff during football season. Like when I see the Raiders play or when the Hurricanes are playing. But I have to remember that it's just a game. But sometimes it slips out, and but I will never ever call anybody of a different race, religion, creed, whatever it is, by their that vulgar language. You will never hear me call an African American the N word. You will never hear me, call a Caucasian, the H word. You'll never hear me, call a woman the C word, the B word. You'll never hear me catch another, uh, you know, Latino like myself, the S word, the W word, anything like that. I never, because I was taught better than that. And the way he said it, it sounded like it was natural to him, which made it even more upsetting to me that, oh, whoops, sorry about that. So, um, but this was his bed, and now he's gonna lay in it. And to give you an idea who he was a former NASCAR driver. His first race was in 2013 at the Bank of America 500 in Charlotte. He won offensive or driver of the year or rookie of the year that year. And his last race was just recently in 2020 at the Fan Shield 500, which is held in Phoenix. His first win didn't actually come until 2016, and his last win was 2019 at the Dean 400 in Dover. He ran over 223 races. Now, he did other stuff for NASCAR, but this is just, the NASCAR that we know, the actual, the Sprint Cup series. There's other series that he competed, but this is the actual main one that, people actually know and they show on Fox and everything. The one that gets recognition. Over those 223 races, he got 6 wins. He finished in the top 10 101 times, and he finished in the polls 8 times. For the people that don't know what polls is, it's to determine where you are going to start in the race. You have to go a lap trial around the race, and the faster you do it, well, that's where you start in your position. So he finished in the top 10 all 8 times out of the 223 that he did. Um, his best finish as a professional driver was 6th in 2019. So, as I mentioned, he did say a slur, and the next day he came out with a video where he apologized, and He said all the right things, but it was too late. Like, I wouldn't say it's too late. I don't know if he'll ever race again because I don't know how the reaction's going to be. However, watching it on, First Take, watching it on FS1, and just really, reading comments and just hearing other people's opinions and talking to people, um, the reaction I got was mixed. Some people say, he should never race again, and it'd be understandable why. After you saying that word, it's gonna be hard to get viewed any differently. Once you do something like this, or any bad. Oh, and we have a comment. What's up, Junior? Jonathan, thanks for joining in, my man. Once you do stuff like this, it's hard to change view of the people because it's a very hard world to change people's minds. And then the other mixed reaction I got was, well, he apologized. He should race again. Let me be very clear about something. And this is just me as a person. I don't think he should ever race again. I really don't. He apologized. Great. That's big on him that he has to show his face again, apologizing for the word he said, but he should never race again. And I know I'm going to hear it. And for the people right now that are watching and that are subscribers to this channel and, fans of the Facebook page, of, the sports page on Facebook, let me be very clear. We can not always agree, but we can respect, our opinions about it. And to the people that I did mention that, that they should never race again, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told them that they already did. If you want to unsubscribe, the button's right there on your top right. So you can hit that unsubscribe button if you don't like what I'm about to say, and that's fine. Because we should all be adults about this and really face it as adults. The reason I say that he should never race again is he wasn't that good. He wasn't that good. He 223 races and he only won 6 of them. Now I understand it's a little hard to win in NASCAR. I get all that. However, you should never race again because of the slur he used. And the people that I did talk to say, well, I say this to them. That word affected a community. It affects a community when you say the word. That one word affects a whole community. To me, that's more than enough for him to never race again. And I hear it all the time. I heard it this morning and I heard it in the afternoon. Well, he apologized for it. Like, yeah, he apologized for it, but people saying, well, it didn't affect this community. And then people want to bring up, and again, I hate bringing up politics and I hate bringing up stuff like this. But if you're going to use this as an example, then we're going to use this as an example. They brought up Colin Kaepernick, that they think that some people out there believe that what Colin Kaepernick did was worse than what Kyle Larson did. Let me be very clear about this. I'm going to use the same arguments you guys used against me. That Colin Kaepernick affected a community when he kneed during the national anthem. Well, guess what? He apologized for it, still isn't playing in the NFL. What's the difference? What's the difference? I want to know that. What do you guys think is the difference? For me, I hate it because I personally do not like to, mention that I was in the service. Yes, I have the flag behind me. That's because that's where I was stationed and I love it over there. And this is, to me, this is just a reminder of all the great people that I did serve with and everybody that, was part of that, when I was there. And I'm always going to remember them. They're always going to be my heroes. My heroes. I'm a nobody. In no way, shape, or form am I better than anybody, the person next to me on my left and the person next to me on my right. Those guys that I was in, those are my heroes. Those guys are the superheroes that I can only dream about. And when I grow up, whenever I have kids, grandkids, whenever that may be, and they're going to see pictures of this, they're going to see this flag, they're going to say, was I a hero during their time? And I'm going to say no because I was part of a company full of heroes. However, you people, the people out there that believe that the Colin Kaepernick affected a community, have you people that do tweet that stuff, write that stuff, comment on that stuff? I guarantee you, the way you guys take jokes, the way you guys respond to harsh criticism, never served a day in your life. Never. You never served a day in your life. Why? Because of the actions and the response that you put your words into it. Colin Kaepernick, he did what we did as us service members protecting the First Amendment. He used his First Amendment speech to protest his views on police brutality and the way it was being handled by punishment of the law. That was his first speech right, which he has the right to do as an American. Now, Kyle Larson said the N word. I understand, but what you're saying is if Colin Kaepernick affected a military community, Kyle Larson affected the African American community. And if you don't believe me, if you're a Caucasian living in America, go to a neighborhood that's a majority dominant African American. Say that word to them. And I want to see what happens to you. I want to see your reaction. And as I mentioned before, you don't like what I'm hearing? Unsubscribe button right there. I have no time for this. To give you an idea, Colin Kaepernick, former NFL quarterback, 72 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, 12,271 passing yards. But he didn't get the start until 2012, which, by the way, took his team to the Super Bowl. He took that team to that Super Bowl. He had a great defense, and he had a solid online and a great running game. But he did what Alex Smith couldn't do with those same weapons. He took him to the Super Bowl. 2,300 rushing yards total in his career, 13 rushing touchdowns. His best finish was second. He was a runner-up. He was a quarter away from winning the Super Bowl. It's just Baltimore they were just darn good that year, and it's unfortunate. But unfortunately, that's what it is. If you're telling me Colin Kaepernick never deserves to play again, and the best he ever got was he finished second, then Kyle Larson never deserves to race again because his best was in 2019 when he was top 6. That's a joke. That's a joke. And for the people out there that are saying, well, it affects this community, what are you basing it on? What are you basing this on? I hate it. I hate the fact that there's people that are defending a guy like Kyle Larson, but are killing a guy like Colin Kaepernick. To me, it just shows that America has not grown up yet. They're not ready. That we still live in a time like this. That people use that word freely. And I guarantee you, he used it more than just that one time because the way it slipped out, it was natural to him. This is a joke. This is a joke. But I guarantee you this much. Should he ever race again? Should he ever race again? I guarantee you, I will be the first one to go to that first event. And I will throw a bunch of tomatoes on that fucking car. And I'm sorry for the language, but this is a joke. This is a freaking joke. And for the people out there that are defending this man, that he was just using his First Amendment of free speech, Kaepernick was doing the same thing. Why? Because it is what it is. So in that statement alone, what you just proved to me, for the people out there that have commented to me about this and that have bashed me for this, that you only care about the truth when it applies to you, when it makes you feel safe. that you can't handle harsh criticism. You can't handle the harsh truth. The harsh truth is this: Colin Kaepernick should be at least considered to be a backup in the NFL. At least a backup. Not a starter, but just a backup. He deserves that respect because of his game. Kyle Larson will probably get to race again, but in the views of everybody, like myself, I will never see him more than anything than just a racist driver. And I get it. I understand people saying, well, Junior or Juan, black people, African Americans, they use the N word in their music videos and their lyrics and their songs and their movies and TV shows. And I don't like that either. I don't like that either because it's allowing people like this to make it think it's okay to use this. The second we can talk to each other without using that word and start talking to each other with respect, then it would start to go away little by little. But we haven't learned that yet. We haven't learned that yet. And for the people out there that that are telling me, like your generation's soft and this and that, really? First of all, you want to compare generations? Let's compare. I get it. You guys got the short end of the stick of Vietnam. To the people out there that really was alive during Vietnam, that was a crappy situation that nobody should ever gone. And I thank those men and women that did do their service at Vietnam. I do. But let's really talk about generation to generation without service time. Your generation was scared of another man of color playing baseball. Your generation was scared of another person of color eating at the same restaurant as you guys. Your generation was scared of drinking out of the same water fountain as you guys. Your generation was scared because a group of music members down in South Central Los Angeles was telling you the way it is. And you guys were scared of that. Our generation was scared of 9/11, swine flu. Now we got to deal with the coronavirus and climate change. But you guys don't care because as that video as I saw, the climate change, I remember directly hearing a statement one time saying climate change will not affect me because I'm old. I'll be gone soon. That's a you guys problem. What happened to the old saying of passing it on to the next generation and making sure it was better than when we got it? Where's that? And for the people that don't like what I'm saying, two things that come out to it. You don't agree with me, which is fine. And we can talk about it because I'm adult enough to at least listen to other people's opinions. Or the second part, you don't want to hear it because you're too scared to admit that this is what it is. That you're one of those people that believe Kyle Larson should do this again, should race again, and that he was sincere. Colin Kaepernick did apologize. He didn't mean to offend any one of us. He did do an interview saying he did not mean to offend, military personnel, spouses of the military, anything like that. But you guys still kill him. Why? Because he's just a man trying to get a job. He won't do it because, for whatever reason, it hurt your feelings. It hurt your feelings what he did. Now that's a you problem. That's a you problem. If you can't talk about it without slandering the man, without bringing the man down, and you can't be a grown up and talk about it, that's a you problem. And I hope whoever watches this video at least have a decent soul enough to understand That word or any other word like that should never be used. It's a joke. To me, it's a joke that people out there believe that he should race again while Colin Kaepernick should never play again. Last I checked, they're both people. They're both human. They both make mistakes. It's just in some views of America, one mistake is not as big as the other. And we need to change that. And we need to change it fast. Because growing up, I never saw color. I have friends of all races. I have friends of every creed, every religion. One of my best friends, I can't even explain to you what his religion is because it's not even practiced out here in the West. What I'm saying to you guys is we're human first. Be a better person. If it really does kill you to be a sincere, to be a nice person, I don't know what to tell you. If it's really that hard to do a nice gesture once in a while to others, to help a brother out, help a sister out, and I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. And I'll leave it off at this statement because I got hit with, religious comments today on my messenger and everything. To the people out there that are bringing religion into this, let me put it to you clearly. I've trusted more people. There's some people I trust more that have tattoos than some people that go to church on Sundays religiously. And I'm going to leave it at that because I'm going to say something that you guys are going to hate and you guys are going to slander me. You guys are going to try to take away what I've always wanted to do, my dream, because we can't see eye to eye and we can't talk about it like adults. I hate it. People, the Bible, you guys are, one of the worst sometimes. I know some people that are like that and they're not as worse as you guys. You guys need to grow up. We need to be better as humans, as people. Not everybody's a bad person. Not everything you see on TV is bad things. It's a joke. It's a freaking joke, and I'm gonna leave it off of that for the Kyle Larson thing. Do we have any comments on that? No? Anybody want to join in? No? All right. You guys weren't too scared to slander me on Messenger, but you guys are too scared to put it on Facebook. What is it because it's on public? You guys don't want to be heard? That's fine with me. So let's move on to a better, hopefully more energetic topic, the NCAA. So today, the NCAA has come out with the reports that they are trying to deem football players essential employees for this upcoming season. First of all, I don't even know where to begin on this. For years, I've always heard, that these kids are amateurs, that, they get a scholarship to play and this and that. I understand business is business, but if these guys are essential employees, does that mean they're finally going to start paying these athletes? I doubt it. I doubt it. Look, I'm as big a fan of football as anybody out there in America. I love college football. I love the NFL. You know, right now there'd be nothing more I would love to see than a football game happening right now. Me personally, though, I wouldn't want these kids' lives in danger or anybody's life in danger, any professional athlete's life in danger like that. Because why? Why do that? The NCAA is just trying to make their money again. I never liked the way the business of the NCAA was that they get all the profits, but the players get jack. Yeah, I understand. They get a tuition, they get their dorm paid, and they get their meals. But they're bringing in the money. They're bringing in the money. Not the athletic programs, not the boosters, it's the players. Because Every booster out there in America, every recruiter is trying to do one thing. They all have one goal: to get the best athletes to put up the most points on that scoreboard at the end of the game. I hate it. I don't understand why the NCAA is trying to do this. That they're trying to make these kids who are supposed to be amateurs essential employees. Last time I checked, an employee, you get paid for it. These kids don't get paid. And don't give me none of that, well, they get a free ride. Yeah, but be real with yourself. How many times have you heard athletes who get full rides and they're still suffering on getting meals? That they can't get another meal, that they have to kind of violate the rules to get some extra cash flow. Happens all the time. The NCAA is a joke. The NCAA is a joke. And I hope this doesn't happen. And I hope that for my sake, that, or for their sake, they don't allow this. Because if they allow this, if I'm a top 15 player and I know I'm going to go into the NFL draft next year as a first rounder, I'm not playing. What are they going to do? Kick me out? I'm still going to go in the first round. Fine with me. I mean, that's the way I see it. And, I think the NCAA is trying to do this because also today, Jalen Green, who was the number one recruit in America, decided to forego college and go straight to the NBA G League. Now, me personally, I think this was not a mistake, but I think he really should have thought through this more. And I think this is going to be the starting trend now where if you're the number one prospect, you're going to have options. And Adam Silver made it very simple that we will pay you up to 500,000 for your salary for 1 year in the G League, and then you can get drafted next year. Because remember, the rule is you got to be out of high school for, basketball athletes, to be entered into the draft. You can't enter the draft until you're out of 1 year out of high school, But hopefully that 18-year rule comes back. We'll see. But Jalen Green decided to go to the G League today and make 500,000. I personally thought that was a mistake. What I think he should have done is probably go to international waters. He should have played internationally. If financial reason is the only reason he did this, then he probably should have gone to European leagues, professional European leagues, get paid a little bit more, and get the experience as a pro. Now, the NBA G League, you're going to get experience, but not the pro experience. You're kind of with, kids who've been out of college now for 2-3 years. They're trying to find their way into the NBA. So it's going to be tougher for him. I think he should have gone to the international game, but this was his choice. This was his choice. And yeah, the 500,000 salary, that's what the top dollar is for him at that point. But now he's going to be able to be free to sign endorsement deals, shoe deals, shirt deals, anything. You think of it, you name it, he's going to try to sign and get more out of it. Better talent here. As far as the G League, Jonathan, or international? But I mean, I understand. Maybe the talent is a little different, but I just think that this is probably going to be a trend. And people on ESPN, I think I heard the craziest remark today that Zion Williams would not be Zion Williams if it wasn't for Duke. Let's get one thing straight. He was the number one recruit coming out of high school. If this was allowed at his time, you really think he would have gone to Duke? And let's be honest about another thing. For all of the sports out there, football, baseball, basketball, and just everything, there's schools you go to for an education. There's schools you go to because you believe you have a chance being a pro. For basketball, Duke, Kentucky, just to name a couple. For college football, Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, just to name a few. You're not really going there for the education part. Let's just be real. You're going because you believe you have a chance at being a professional athlete. And that's just, maybe I'm wrong. And again, we can discuss about this. Anybody that out there that thinks I'm wrong, we can discuss about this. But I believe you go to these schools because you only want to do a one and done deal for college basketball. If you go to Duke, you're not going to, it's very rare a player stays at Duke for 4 years. It's rare. I can't even tell you the last time I heard a player in Duke stay 4 years with him being a projected first round pick. I don't remember a time in Alabama where they finish out, they go to their senior year, they're out by like their redshirted sophomore year, their junior year. It's very rare nowadays. Jalen Green started something where I think it will be a trend. And it's going to be up to him to how he handles it. If he goes to the G League and he does his thing and he becomes the number one pick, if I'm a number one recruit, whether it's in college basketball, why do I want to go to college when why do I want to wait a year to get my money and to keep paying the NCAA their money? Why do I want to wait a year? I'll just go to Europe or I'll go to the G League. And I think that's where before the XFL went bankrupt, I think that was going to be their next step for the best high school football athletes coming out of high school to give them a chance to compete in the XFL. Again, I don't think it would have worked because XFL players are former athletes in the NFL, so they have a little bit of edge over 18-year-olds. You're still growing into your body. But at least if I'm the number one recruit, why do I want to wait when I can join the XFL? Kind of be there for 2, 3 years and then enter the pros, but I already got my money. I'm already getting paid while I'm playing professional football. I think what we saw today is going to be a trend if he successfully succeeds in the G League, where top athletes, the number one, the number two, the number three, they're going to be like, I don't want to go to. Some will go to college because they do want an education, and it depends on where they want to go. It's just if you're going to schools like Duke, Kentucky for college basketball, are you really going for the education, or are you just trying to get some heads up before you hit the pros? And we have a comment. But if you go to college, a lot of these kids are getting short careers before they go pro. I get all that. I get all that. But why, if my talent is good enough where I'm ranked number one in high school, why do I want to go to a program that's not going to pay me for my talents? Then when I can go to the G League or another European league and take my chances, but get paid for it. You're going to get money, and you can always go back to school when you're done. You can always take online classes. That's the beauty thing about technology. Online classes are available anywhere. Injuries and careers. I understand the risk factor. But guess what? If you go to Duke and you get hurt there, guess what? Chances are your scholarship gets taken away. Then what do? Out in the streets, no flow, no money. Because if you get a career-ending injury, you're done without an education. I get that, but it's the same thing if you get hurt at Duke or Kentucky. You think they're going to want to keep around somebody that tears the ACL? No, those guys want to win right now. We've seen it. I've seen it. I have seen players that get hurt. They rescind their scholarship. They take it away. Now they're back on the streets. For me personally, if I'm an athlete, college is important. I'm not saying education is not important. But if you're in it for the financial gain, go pro early, go nuts. You're 18. You're an adult. Do what you think is best for you, because isn't that what they always say? Well, when they get caught with something, well, they're adults. They know what they're doing. They knew the risk. Well, same thing here. They're 18. Let them go pro. They're adults. Nothing we can say about it. But again, there's pros and cons to both sides. The pro is you go to college, you get an education. That's great. But I'm talking about students that go to these universities for 1 year. They don't graduate their freshman year. They got to go back to school. So if you're just in it for the financial gain, get your money first, then go back to school. The con of it is, yes, if you do get hurt early, well, now you only get paid what you got paid in your whole career of your G League or whatever it is, and now you got to go back to school on your own dime. But the same thing goes with the pros and cons. You get a free education to college on a scholarship. But if you get hurt, career-ending injury, they can take your scholarship away just as fast as they gave it to you. Then what? Then what do? You got to go to college somewhere else on your own dime. The pros and cons are both there. I just think for if you're in it for the financial gain and you're a top athlete, go pro. Me personally, I thought he would have gone to European League, but he believes that there's going to be a quicker way to get to the NBA. So be it. He's 18. He's an adult. That's his decision. So the NCAA and versus the students are now in another battle. It's going to be a never-ending battle between the NCAA and the students. Never is. California, before this whole thing went down, passed where now players are going to get paid for going to college while getting a free education. It wasn't going to be there a while after that the NCAA was going to step in and be like, okay, you can do that, but you can no longer be part of the NCAA. Can you imagine the NCAA going to USC and saying, if you're going to pay these kids, you can no longer be part of the NCAA because now you are a semi-pro league. The Pac-12 would have been a semi-pro league, and the NCAA would have taken that to court. Can you imagine the tipping factor at that point? These recruits are like, man, I'm going to get a free education and get paid. You're going to see kids from Texas, Alabama, Louisiana, Florida come over here to the West Coast. And now that's going to be a problem in SEC country where, oh crap, we're losing top recruits because over there on the west side of the Pac-12, they're a semi-pro league, but they're still giving their kids college educations. We have to jump in on that. It would have been a natural thing, but the NCAA is just really stingy. It is a crooked business. It's one of the crooked businesses out there. And I'm with the student on this one. Get your money if you believe that you can go pro right away. You're an adult, you make your own decisions. I will never favor the NCAA over anything. The NCAA is nothing but a bunch of crooks that all they want is their money at the kids' expense. And last time I checked, again, where's the decency in that? Yeah, you give your kids an education, but if they get hurt, you can easily take it away. And what can the kid do? Nothing. Because he's just a kid. He's just a young adult with no leverage, no money, no power. That's why I'm glad this is happening now to the NCAA. And it won't be before long the NFL implements something like this. Baseball implements something like this. Hockey will implement something like this. And I hope that this is a wake-up call to the NCAA. Today was a little victory for the students in this aspect. Tomorrow, it might just be a wake-up call for them to finally understand that the NCAA needs the students more than the students need the NCAA. So that's going to wrap it up for today's first couple topics. In a few minutes, I will come back. I'm going to try to set up the video again, and we're going to move on to where, what I usually do every night. It's the Green Bay Packers' turn. They're on the clock. Can you hear my recent song? No, I cannot, or I can. You got to send me a link. I want to send a link. It's the new wave. You know what, man? I have no idea how you say that, but I don't even want to attempt because I probably sound like a dork. But yeah, send me a link and I'll let you know, my man. But in a few minutes I'll come back. We'll do the Packers. They're on the clock. We're gonna try to set a happy mood here. I just had to get this off my chest because you guys wanted to talk about this. For the people that are still here, I thank you guys for watching, and for the people that just left and whatever they did as their decision. Sorry we couldn't be adults and talk about it face to face, man to man, phone on phone, whatever it was. It's just one day we'll get there. It just probably won't be today. So Give us about 10 minutes and we'll come back for the Packers. Thanks, guys. Was there any comments on the thing? No.